Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning everyone. My name is Mohammed Bashir and my group and I will be presenting our project on Indonesia's economic progress from 2013 to 2023. Okay, Indonesia is Southeast Asia's largest economy and one of the most diverse nations in the world, with over 16,000 islands and a population exceeding over 270 million. It has a large consumer base, abundant natural resources, and a strategic location that supports trade and investments. Over the past decade, the country has evolved from relying heavily on natural resources, building strong manufacturing services, and digital innovation sectors. In this project, we explore Indonesia's development through key indicators like GDP growth, inflation, and unemployment. We also examine border dimension of progress, human development, foreign investments, and poverty reduction. Together, these insights offer a clearer picture of Indonesia's transformation over the last 10 years to its growth, its challenges, and its journey towards a more dynamic and inclusive economy.
So this is part for Indonesian economy, GDP growth rate. First of all, what is GDP? GDP means total value of goods and service produced by a country in a year. So the key point today is trend. What is the trend? Happen in the graph. So for 2013 until 2018, Indonesian economy grew steadily, around 5% every year. The main reason is consistent economic growth, better access public service, expansion and welfare programs. So the trend is slightly upward trend. So secondly, 2018 until 2020, the trend is sharp downward trend, which is because of COVID-19 pandemic. 2021 until 2023 is upward trend. The economy bounced from 3.69% to 5.03% because of economic recovery.
Alright, now let's talk about inflation and how it affected Indonesia from 2013 to 2023. Inflation is the rate at which prices for goods and services go up over time. When inflation rises, the value of money goes down. This is an important sign of how healthy an economy is. From 2013 to 2019, Indonesia's inflation was quite stable, around 3 to 4% each year. The economy was growing steadily, people were spending more, and the central bank, Bank Indonesia, managed things well. The government helped by giving them subsidies and controlling prices. Then came 2020 and the COVID-19 pandemic. Everything changed at first. Inflation dropped because people stopped spending, but soon after, prices started rising again because of supply chain problems and higher costs. But between 2021 and 2023, inflation began to stabilize as the economy recovered. The government gave financial support and lifted restrictions, but global issues like rising oil prices and geopolitical tensions caused inflation to rise again. Despite all this, Indonesia managed to keep inflation under control thanks to strong policies and quick responses. In short, the last 10 years showed how both local and global events can impact inflation, but also how good management can keep the economy steady. Thank you.
Hi everyone, today I will briefly explain the unemployment rate in Indonesia from 2013 to 2023. Unemployment means people who are willing to work but cannot find jobs. This includes open underemployed and hidden employment. It reduces economic output and lead to poverty, crime and stress. Based on SECNA's data by BPS, the unemployment rate dropped from 6.2% in 2013 to 5.3% in 2019, thanks to strong economic growth and reforms. In 2020, it spiked to 7.7% due to the COVID-19 pandemic. From 2021 to 2023, the rate gradually improved as the government introduced stimulus, supported digital jobs and helped small businesses. In short, unemployment reflects the health of a nation's economy and Indonesia is showing signs of recovery. Thank you.
The alternative development indicator that we choose is HDI, FDI, and poverty rate. The Human Development Index, or HDI, is a composite indicator developed by the United Nations Development Programme (UNDP) to measure a country's average achievement in three key areas: health, education, and standard of living. Health is measured by life expectancy, education by expected years of schooling, and the standard of living by gross national income per capita. Now, let's take a look at how Indonesia HDI has changed over the last decade. From 2013 to 2018, Indonesia HDI rose steadily from 0.690 to 0.715. This growth was largely driven by improvement in healthcare, educational reforms, and income, supported by national programs like JKN and Indonesia Pintar. A key milestone was reached in 2019. In 2019, Indonesia HDI reached 0.714, officially placing the country in the high human development category, a significant achievement. However, the trend took a downturn shortly after due to the COVID-19 pandemic. HDI declined to 0.707 in 2021. This drop reflected the impact of the overwhelmed healthcare system, school closure, and economic disruption. Then, recovery followed soon after. Indonesia HDI rebounded strongly, reaching 0.726 in 2022 and rising further to 0.728 in 2023. To conclude, overall, Indonesia HDI shows steady long-term progress. Continued investment in healthcare, education, and equal access will be essential to sustain and enhance this development.
FDI means when foreign companies invest in a country by building business or buying shares in local companies. It brings not just money, but also new technology, skilled workers, and access to global markets. For Indonesia, FDI has played an important role in helping the economic growth and the industry development. Over the last 10 years, Indonesia has attracted a lot of foreign investment. Thanks to better infrastructure, government reforms, and rich natural resources. Key sectors include manufacturing, mining, and the fast-growing digital economy. In 2013, FDI in Indonesia was around $18.4 billion. It grew steadily and reached a high of $27.9 billion in 2018. During COVID-19 in 2020, it dropped to 18.8 billion, but then recovered strongly. In 2023, FDI reached a record high of $31.1 billion. FDI has helped create jobs, raise incomes, and improve exports. But there are still challenges. Most investment goes to certain regions, causing uneven development. Environmental damage, especially from mining, is also uncertain, and depending too much on foreign money can be risky if the world economy becomes unsustainable. To move forward, Indonesia should simplify its rules, improve infrastructure outside Java, match education with job needs, and support green investment.
Poverty rate is the ratio of the population whose income falls below the poverty line. The poverty line in Indonesia is defined as the amount of money required to obtain 2,100 calories per day, along with a small amount for other basic non-food items. According to Badan Statistik Indonesia, as of March 2024, the national poverty line of Indonesia is Rp582,932 per capita per month. From 2013 to 2019, Indonesia experienced a steady decline in poverty rate. In 2013, the poverty rate of Indonesia stood at around 11.7%, and by 2019, it dropped to approximately 9.22%. This gradual improvement was driven by consistent economic growth, better access to public services, as well as the expansion of government welfare programs, such as Program Keluarga Harapan, according to Kementerian Social Republik Indonesia. However, this positive trend was disrupted in 2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic hit. The poverty rate spiked to around 10.19% due to widespread job losses, especially in informal sectors. Recovery efforts began in 2021, which caused the poverty rate to drop to 9.71%. It continued to decrease more to 9.36% in 2023. The increasing economic activity following the end of COVID-19 pandemic resulted in gradual job opportunities comebacks. According to Kiptia and Madeleine, the government policies of mandatory vaccines and the new normal of online transactions and remote jobs also helped with the post-pandemic economic recovery.
So here we go. This is part for area of improvement in the context of Indonesian economy. Area of improvement are the weak spot or the challenge in the economy that needs more attention, better solution, and stronger policies. In its simple words, it means what's still a problem? What must we do to improve it? Area of improvement for GDP. As we know, GDP growth slowed by COVID-19 pandemic, but has recovered. In 2022, GDP grew at 5.3%. In 2023, GDP grew at 5.0%. Government helped growth by investing in infrastructure, for example, roads and airports, and also improved regulation to attract foreign investors. Other than that, government also launched PEN, or National Economic Recovery Program, to help business, and omnibus law on job creation to create more jobs to help people. In conclusion, Indonesia GDP improved through strong investment, better policies, and quick recovery after COVID-19. Area of improvement for inflation. Inflation has been unstable. In 2013 until 2014, Bank Indonesia has raised interest rate to fight inflation, but it reduced people's spending. During COVID-19, the bank lowered interest rates to encourage spending. In 2022, the government gave fuel and food subsidies to help families. By 2023, inflation was reduced to 3.56, showing some improvement. However, inflation management still requires some improvement. In conclusion, Indonesia managed inflation well by adjusting interest rate and supporting household. Area of improvement for unemployment. COVID-19 caused job losses, especially among young. So to solve this, government has been launched the Kartu Prakerja in 2020 until 2021 to help people learn new skill and get job training, and also enact the job creation law in 2022 until 2023 to make it easier to hire and invest. Other than that, government also create a program named Padat Karya Public Work Program to create temporary job, especially in rural area. This action helped reduce the unemployment back to pre-pandemic levels. In conclusion, unemployment was reduced by job training, temporary work, and new laws supporting hiring.
First, let's look at Human Development Index, or HDI. From 2030 to 2022, Indonesia's HDI improved from 0.69 to 0.728. This shows progress in areas like education, healthcare, and living standards. Some important government programs helped with this, like National Health Insurance, 20 years of mandatory education, and social aid programs like PKH and BPNT. But not all regions have improved equally. Some rural and eastern areas still struggle to get food, healthcare, and education. To improve further, and Indonesia needs to train more teachers, build better rural healthcare, and fight child studies through better nation and mental care. Now let's talk about FDI. It has helped grow Indonesia's economy, especially in manufacturing, digital sectors, and infrastructures. In 2020, during the pandemic, FDI dropped, but later recovered because of legal reforms like omnibus law, which made investing easier. Still, problems like complicated rules and uneven investment across regions need to be fixed. Indonesia should work on clear laws, better infrastructures outside cities, and fair investment in poor areas. To keep moving forward, Indonesia must help low-income families become more resilient. improve how it is given, and reduce reliance on informal jobs. This means investing more in human capital, strong institution, and making sure all regions benefits from development. With strong teamwork between the government, Bank Indonesia, and the key ministries, Indonesia can reach its long-term goals and become even more competitive globally. Finally, the poverty rate dropped from 11.5% in 2030 to 9.36% in 2023. This was thanks to steady growth and a program like PKH, food aid and supports for some business. But in remote areas, many families still face hardship and economic risk.
Now, I would like to share a short Islamic perspective on economic development. Islam views economic development as a path to holistic well-being, combining material growth with spiritual and social responsibility. It values quality over quantity, focusing on justice, dignity, and equity for all. Emphasized in Surah Al-Baqarah, Juz 2, verse 177, righteousness encompasses faith, social responsibility, and the equitable distribution of wealth. Islam encouraged the use of instruments such as zakat, wakaf, and sadaqah to address poverty and unemployment, while also fostering entrepreneurship and ethical investment. The prohibition of riba or interest and hoarding ensure that economic system remain just transparent and inclusive. For the GDP, HDI, FDI, inflation, and also unemployment, Islam promote a model of development that is balanced, equitable, and social responsible, ultimately aim to achieve falah.
From 2013 to 2023, Indonesia showed strong economic growth, resilience during the COVID-19 crisis, and a solid post-pandemic recovery. Inflation remained stable, and unemployment gradually declined due to reforms. And key indicators like HDI improved, FDI remained significant, and poverty decreased with government support. However, challenges such as economic diversification, regional inequality, and labor market redistribution persist from an Islamic perspective. True economic success include justice, equity, and ethical wealth distribution. Move forward, Indonesia must focus on inclusive, innovation-driven growth grounded in both economic and moral principles. Thank you.